Hi there, all you fabulous people. Welcome to yet another episode of Go Well with Sharon. We are on location at the Isango Gate Hotel right here in Summerstrand, Port Elizabeth today, and we are going to show you what this amazing little hotel has to offer. We're also going to be interviewing a really special person. So come inside with me and let's go see what they've got to offer. Hi guys, and welcome back to Go Well with Sharon. As I've mentioned earlier, we are at Isango Gate Hotel today, and I'm interviewing a very special person, Sharon van Deventer. Sharon, thank you so much for joining me on my show today.
Thank you, Sharon, for having me.
Trust me, the pleasure's all mine. Now, the first question I want to ask you, and I think our viewers out there need to know this. What is LGBTQI+?
LGBTIQI+ is an abbreviation that represents all the gender identities and sexual orientations that's out there. There's over 30 different ones. It's not only lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual, transgender, queer, pansexual, but there's many more others as well. And that's less familiar to everyone, but when you search for it and you read up more about it, you can find it anywhere. It's quite accessible.
It is indeed, it is indeed. Now, I want to know from you, okay, when did you realize, or how did it come about that you realized, hang on a seckie, I'm not the same as everybody else out there?
Okay. So I don't regard myself as different to anyone that's on the binary continuum of gender identities. I refer to myself or see myself as a gender non-conforming individual, gender fluid. So I don't fit into the ideal binary female-male. So I would not subscribe to any title like Mr., Ma'am, and if people confuse it, that's okay, because I don't see myself fitting into any of those. So I'm quite fluid and I move through the genders that's out there. And when I realized that I do not conform to the ideologies of society and what we are indoctrinated to think gender should be, because gender is a social construct, it was quite early in my life, around 13.
Okay.
And I ascribe it to my inquisitive mindedness, always wanting to find out different things, and my personality is just that type that I was able to find myself, if I can say that, in that time and space in my life.
Great stuff. Now tell me, obviously, being that way inclined, all right, how did you find your family, your parents, your peers, how did they react to that when you explained all of this to them?
Okay. So I only officially, like people would call it, coming out at the age of 22, but I knew way before that, like I said. And obviously friends react differently. Some were fine with it. Others, they're no longer my friend. And my parents were okay, so I regard myself as one of the lucky ones. Because not everybody has that privilege of just being accepted and everybody goes on as if it's normal. So we get those that still stigmatized against because they regard themselves as different, and like I said, I don't see myself as different. I'm just not part of the normal that society would regard as normal.
Absolutely. And now I want to raise a touchy subject for me because personally, I hate that word tolerance. Okay, for me, tolerating something is just like, okay, I don't actually agree with it, but I'll just be okay with it. In terms of tolerance versus acceptance, being the person that you are, how have you found it out there in the world?
Okay. One thing that, in my personal opinion, is you first have to accept yourself and be comfortable in your own skin before you can really open up to other people. And by being confident in what you stand for and who you believe you are, you can educate others by just being fine with yourself, being comfortable in your own skin. And therefore, I find people being more tolerant to an extent. But I think it's also relating to ignorance and lack of education, because not many people see it as something that's supposed to be there or is part of life.
Yes.
And it also depends on people's worldviews. So some of us are in the stage where we have the worldview of social order at our age in life. So we start questioning where we should fit in. And some people aren't critical about life, they just go about doing what they want to do and minding their own business. But others have a different outlook on life and are more critical. So they would, especially those belonging to the LGBTQIA plus community, they find themselves having to be on defense mode all the time. And it's not because they want to, but sometimes they have to protect them against anyone else out there who might want to hurt them, might want to bully them, and that all have severe consequences in terms of mental health. Suicide risk are at a high rate amongst LGBTQIA plus community members, and yeah, that's where others have to be the voice for those that can't speak up, and maybe speak on their part and on their behalf, so that there can be this harmony and better appreciation for diversity. Because diversity for me is, some people have a narrow view of it, which is only on different cultures, different races, but it's much more than that, including worldviews.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And I also find that often when people don't understand something or they don't bother to learn about something, they fear it. And I think that is where a lot of the stigma and the name calling and the labeling comes from.
Yeah.
You know?
We also live in a society that loves to label anything.
Yes.
We always
very
have
true.
to find a
Very
name
true.
for something, and this is one of those. So if something is unknown to me, well, you're going to find something to label it as, so that you can identify with it. But most people can't identify with certain things, and they have various reasons for it.
Yes.
One, they may not be part of it. One, they don't have the education or access to anything, or they haven't done the effort and time to go and read up on all of these issues. So when we find ourselves in situations, you get that where you just have to one day decide, this is me, this is who I am, and I have to face life. So for me, gender non-conforming individuals, transgender individuals also get stigmatized against people of the LGBTQI plus community itself. So there's also this internal struggle, not only homosexual and non-conforming individuals, but also within the community, and not only between the LGBTQIA plus community and the heterosexual communities and cisgender communities. So that's another struggle on its own that's within, because people don't always know, and different gender identities face different struggles and challenges, and not everybody is familiar with those. So once again, it's a whole new worldview that you have to adopt, and you need to want to do it. If you don't want to do it, you will remain ignorant, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And I can't tell anyone how to perceive someone else, because perceptions differ. So yeah, it's all of those smaller, sometimes invisible things that becomes the biggest challenges for people of the LGBTQIA community, and not so much the ones that we really see. However, I do feel that, especially in the PE surroundings, there is more education and awareness going around. So people do get more educated. There's community workshops, there's talks, there's exhibitions by the university to create this awareness, and people do actually attend quite well.
Thank you so much for chatting to me about this, because I think it's a topic that the world really needs to know about. And I think a lot of people are really almost scared to explore that side of themselves, as you rightfully mentioned, but also of other people. Now, the time has come for us to meet Katya Mendez. So, guys, when we come back, we will present to you Katya. Let's drink to that. Cheers.
Cheers.